Hello to each and every one of you lovely people out there. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Golfing Greenkeeper podcast. Now, if you aren't sure and if you've been hiding under a rock somewhere, my name is Steve Smith and I'm your host, and I'll welcome you to this wonderful podcast. I have something for you. This is John Deere Golf Keeper of the Greens. You may or may not be familiar with it, and hopefully by now you are. You're in for a real treat, and we get to deep dive into someone's career, someone who looks after and helps look after the golf courses that adorn the country of Australia. That's what this one is all about. We have something different. We've been reaching into some of the most wonderful parts of Australia and the most fantastic golf courses in this country, many and varied and everything in between, and we continue that. This time we're going to go to a golf course that you may have heard of before. I have done an interview here in the past, but it's someone different, and that's what's so good about this one today. We're going into a different level of greenkeeping, something very new and something that I've been looking forward to bringing to you for quite some time. So get yourselves ready, be comfortable. This is episode number 97. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I thank the sponsors of this segment. That's why it's called John Deere Golf Keeper of the Greens, because Keeper of the Greens is sponsored by, and I'm working in partnership with John Deere Golf. Now, I want to make sure that you are aware of some of their new gear that's coming out, and this one is for their brand new electric walk-behind greens mowers, the 185E cut and the 225E cut. Now, these are the first fully electric models in the John Deere lineup of walk-behind greens mowers, and something that you're going to want to know more about. I'm absolutely certain of it. But here's a little bit of info. They will mow 4,645 square metres on a single charge. That's how much work you'll get done with one of these bad boys on a single charge. And the best part is there's no fuel consumption. There's no engine noise. They are virtually silent in their operation. And that's what's so good about these fantastic walk-behind greens mowers. They are quietly making a big statement on golf courses around the world. Now, we all know what reducing noise can do for you when you're out there looking after the golf courses in the early mornings, and the fact that these mowers are virtually silent, that's what's so good about them and something to remember. So go on to deere.com.au, that's deere.com.au, to find your nearest dealership, get in touch with them, and go and find out when you can get a demo of these things, or go and have a look at them, see what's going on, because you're going to want to be involved with these machines. You're going to want to know more about them to make sure you make the right choices when it comes to upgrading or even getting into those electric walk-behind greens mowers. Make sure you remember that John Deere Golf have them, and you can get out there and check out the brand new gear, the 185E cut and the 225E cut, to see if they're what's going to work for you and your golf course. Go out there and get in touch with them, guys. I know how much you love this segment. So we're going straight across the country from the East Coast. We're heading west. We're into the driest state of the land in South Australia, into Adelaide, to one of my favourite golf clubs, I will be honest, and that is Glenelg Golf Club in Adelaide, South Australia. And I have on the line fourth-year apprentice Sophie Warren. G'day, Sophie. How are you?
Hello. Good, thanks.
Thanks for joining me on the podcast. What's your day been like today out there on course? A good morning?
Yeah, pretty good. What was I doing? It was a short day today because, it's men's comp day, so
pretty busy. Does that get pretty packed?
Yeah, it does get pretty packed. So that's why we have our short day, because we're like, well, we can't do much, so might as well have our short day. So we finish at 11:30.
Yep.
Which you can't complain with. So
we used to do the same. Yeah. I think it's commonplace for a lot of places to have a midweek comp. We were the same at Katoomba, I remember, and our short day was a Wednesday. Same.
Yeah, but I was just, what did I do? I did set up this morning, so just changing markers and trimming holes.
Yep.
It's a bit windy here last night, so I was on the blower.
Cleaning.
And then we're building paths for the new 3 holes for the construction.
Yep.
So I was just sitting on a gator, just bringing path material, just trying to get those done.
Cool.
So it's a pretty cruisy day.
Nice work. Don't say that too loud. We'll talk about your day It's a little bit notes out in a minute. Don't say it was too crazy. But
No.
we'll and we're going to talk a little bit about, I want to touch on that construction stuff because you guys are just kicking backsides down there doing some unbelievable work. So we'll get to that. But hey, let's start off with a little bit of fun, Steve. Super 7 questions. And I'm going to give this to you because this is such a good part of this segment, even though you're a fourth-year apprentice. But I want to know that this is something that we do for everyone and anyone. It doesn't matter if you're superintendents, qualified greenkeepers, apprentices, doesn't matter. This is going to be across the board part of this John Deere Golf Keeper of the Green segment. So a little bit of fun. You ready for some 7 questions? Quick fire answers. You good?
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yep.
Let's go. Number 1, sunrise or sunset?
Ooh, sunset.
Sunset. I've got to. I love why sunset. I've got to always ask because I was always a sunrise person, I guess, and I love to hear sunset.
Yeah, I like sunrise, but sunset, because down the beach, if you go down there, it's just a nice. Yeah, if you get a nice night, it just looks amazing.
And you guys have that on, is it Spencer Golf, St Vincent Golf? Which golf is off Adelaide at Glenelg?
You talking about West Beach?
Yeah. But down there, the water body, I can't remember if it's St Vincent Golf is the water body. But the sun sets over the water, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Something we don't get the sizzle of an evening watching the sun.
Some days you can you see both sunrise and sunset.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Number 2, dogs or no dogs allowed on the golf course?
Well, I'm trying to convince Dad to get a golf course dog. So
team mascot. A team mascot, you reckon?
Yeah.
Okay, dogs. I like it. I think a lot of people are on that side as well. Number 3.
Yeah.
Now, this is curious. I'm curious. For someone who's learning the trade, this is what I want to know about the differences here with the answers that we're hearing. So, number 3, stripes or no stripes on fairways? What is it for you, Sophie?
No stripes.
No stripes.
Yeah.
Very good. Number 4, green-coloured sand or natural-coloured sand for divot repairs?
Oh, we've got green sand, but natural colour sand is good, but I'm just so used to the green sand, so I'll probably have to go green sand.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 5, your favourite grass variety. Again, some of these are going to be interesting for us to hear as listeners because you're learning the trade, so you're exposing yourself to different things. It might be different next year, but as it stands as a fourth-year apprentice, what's your favourite grass variety?
I do like bent grass.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Bent grass. Anyone in particular that you know of yet as a trade, learning a trade, or just bent in general?
I know our new greens at work are Mackenzie and Dominic Extreme.
Okay.
So they look pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah, like that.
They do look fantastic. I have seen them. They are absolutely mint. Number 6, your preferred style of golf course. Again, not sure. You might have seen some of these in pictures. You may not have seen them at all. I don't know. So this will be interesting. Preferred style of golf course. Cape Wickham on King Island there in Tasmania. Kingston Heath, the sensational golf course on the Sandbelt, or Elliston up in New South Wales on the western side of the Barrington Tops, a beautiful sort of country-style golf course.
I'll probably have to go Kingston Heath.
Okay. I've got to ask, do you know the other courses? Have you seen them? Pictures?
No, I've never seen them, but I've walked around Kingston Heath and it's pretty nice.
Okay, so you've been there, you've experienced the Heath, and it is magnificent, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. All right, number 7, final one. If you could walk around but not play, and I don't even know if you're a golfer, we'll probably find that out soon, but if you could walk around any golf course in Australia tomorrow, which one would it be?
Probably St Andrews, I reckon.
Which one's that? St Andrews Beach?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What have you heard about that?
I don't know. I've just heard good things about it.
Okay, cool. It is good. I have been there and played it. I can tell you it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It really is. So that's a good call. I like that one. That one. Sensational. Well, thank you, Sophie. That's there's some really interesting questions there. And hopefully some of the apprentices and young people out there, newly qualified people that are listening are going to hear some of those answers and think about that relative to them as well. So I appreciate you letting us know, which is fantastic. Now, let's hear a little bit about your career as a young person in the trade, as let's call it for what it is. You're a female in the trade of greenkeeping. Yeah. We don't hear about that terribly often in our trade, which is something that I know for one I'd love to see more of. I'm sure you do too. I know that the industry is working on trying to attract more women into the trade as well. We need that. So that's we'll talk about those things as we go on, but look, you're a fourth-year apprentice at Glenelg. We've just touched on the fact that there's a great deal of construction work going on the golf course. There's lots of redesign going on the golf. You've got a hell of a place to be working at Glenelg Golf Club there. I'd like you to tell us, if you can, Sophie, I suppose let's start at a little bit of the beginning. How did you get into greenkeeping and where did it start from? How did you get there?
Well, everyone knows my dad. Well, most people would know my dad, Tim Warren. So
he's the super of Glenelg. Yep.
Yeah. So it's basically come from that, I reckon, because I was in year 10 at school, and I still remember my first day. I went out there. It's bucketing down with rain.
In Adelaide.
So windy. I'm like, this is terrible. Like, what have I got myself into? And being my first job, I'm just like, oh, this is what? Yeah, this is crap. So got through the first day. I was probably working through the school holidays, probably 3 to 4 days a week.
Okay.
Just like emptying bins, like sand bins, doing like the veg work, like weeding and planting and spraying and doing, like, I wasn't really on the, like, doing the turf side of things as yet.
Sure.
So kept doing that for about a year, and then while I was in year 10, I was also doing a vet course at school, like building pathways. It was called Pathways into Construction.
Okay.
And that involved, like, with that I was doing like carpentry, tiling, paving, and bricklaying.
It's a lot of trade stuff.
Yeah, and I knew I wanted to do a trade, and I had my heart set out, like, I'll leave school and become a chippy.
Okay.
And I soon realised I wouldn't be a bricklayer because I couldn't. My hands are too small to pick up the bricks. So I was like, okay, well, scrap that. And I did the, like, carpentry, and I was terrible at it. I did not enjoy it. I just couldn't get it right. I was like, this is crap. So I was like, it's probably a good thing I did that, because I would have left school and gone into that trade and probably hated it. So I was like, I'm glad I did that.
Yep.
And then continue on into year 11, I was still doing casual work at the golf course, doing weekend work as well. Then, like, Dad lost a few staff and was short staffed, so Dad's like, why don't we get you onto, like, the fairway mower and see how you go on that. So helped on the fairway mower and absolutely loved it.
That's a hell of a jump up on the fairway. What's it like driving those big things when you're at that age?
Yeah, I didn't have my license at that stage, so I'm like, I've never driven a car, but
that's sensational.
This massive mower, and I absolutely loved it. And,
what were your friends thinking at this time? They're big units.
Oh yeah, my friends didn't even know what I did for a job. Like, they were like, what? And then a few, like, say I'm probably a month after that, cut greens for the first time, and I was like, well, this is a bit tricky, but I could get used to this. And then the only reason I was going to do year 12 was to go to formal and get a year 12 jumper. Like, I'm not smart at all. Like, I hated school. So had an interview with our old 2IC and Menina.
Oh, yeah.
And, and then, they're like, well, we know how, like, you've been working here for 2 years. We know how you work. You can do, like, most of the stuff. Like, I was doing bunkers and that at the time. So, and, like, more the greenkeeping side. And then, got the job. And then, that's how it started. But I was destined to, be in the industry, I reckon, because for my, winning the award, I had to do a presentation, and I found this photo of me and Dad I was like a little baby on a John Deere greens mower, and Dad's there just, like, holding me. So it was a full, like, 360 of...
That's crazy. That's unbelievable. Well, that's a great story to hear how you started with it. So what I'm going to do in that, and I didn't know any of that, obviously, so it's great to hear you, and I appreciate you really opening up about a lot of that stuff. But I'm going to pick out a couple of things there that you mentioned. One of them, I think you're being a little bit unfair on yourself, and I'll say that is where you said that you weren't smart at school and that sort of stuff.
Oh, no, I'm not.
No. The reason I say that is because I think, and people may totally disagree with me here, but I think sometimes schools don't make us realise sometimes where we are smart. When we may not be smart sometimes in the book sense or in the way that school might showcase that. But I think when it comes to working with your hands, and you identified pretty early on there when you're talking about in your time working through school at year 10, that you were always going to be in a trade. So you knew that. So there's a skill set there, and that's the way your brain works and your mind is sharp in working physically with your hands, doing things that's not necessarily on paper. It's not that academic side of things, and I think sometimes schools don't highlight that well enough. And I think that people can fall into the cracks a little bit of, and like I said, people could disagree with me all they like, but this is how I see it, and mainly because my brother was a little bit like that in a sense, and now he is probably one of the most successful people I know. Full stop.
Yeah.
Right. So. Yeah. I see that, I hear that, and I think you're being a bit unfair on yourself, and I can say that because I don't think schools showcase the skill sets outside that academic side of things and let us think highly enough about ourselves. If we don't fit that bracket of academic life, of schools and tests, and let's face it, a lot of them are memory tests more than anything. I think you fall away from what we praise in schools, and you don't get the praise for the other sides. So there's a vocational side of things, which is the trades and skills and woodwork and all those bits and pieces that we did. I used to love woodwork at school.
Yeah.
I was a massive fan of that stuff.
I did that, and it was fantastic.
So you kind of get that, but then school doesn't really foster that as well. And maybe I'm being unfair, and there might be modern teachers out there that disagree with me, and that's okay. But this is what I went through, and I've seen that in other people that I went to school with. I've seen it in my family, and so I kind of hear you say that, and I think you're being a little bit unfair on yourself, because here you are, and you touched on the award from the TMSA that you've recently won as Turf Graduate of the Year. So let's look at and fast forward that from where you just talked about to now. Here you are winning a state award for greenkeeping. So I think it's obvious that you are good at what you do, and you have the skills and the passion to be very good at what you do. So I'm going to pick you up on your own point there and say that you don't think yourself in that sense in the past, and look at what you've got in front of you, and look at how well you're going, and look at the things that you're being involved with, the things that you're learning at the capacity you have there at Glenelg. And if anyone doesn't know what Glenelg's doing, you guys are doing a full course, basically essentially a redesign of nearly every part of the golf course from top to bottom. And you've been, fourth year apprentice, you've been involved in that. You have been on a learning curve like very few apprentices get. And you'll probably appreciate that once you move past Glenelg potentially, or beyond the role that you're currently in as an apprentice, and you become a qualified, and you start to realise the things that you have under your belt you don't know yet. And so, again, I can say that. So I wanted to touch on that point a little bit, and say that you I think you're selling yourself short a great deal. And I think we kind of, like the system sometimes has us doing that. And I think that's also a little bit unfair. So that was one of the things. And the other one was, you mentioned your father, Tim Warren, who I've had on the podcast. Fantastic guest on the podcast, Superintendent Tim Warren at Glenelg. If anyone hasn't listened to it, go back. It's a hoot. You'll love it. But I'm gonna share a little bit of my own personal background, and that is working for family, working underneath your father. That's got to be a challenge in a way, because my father was pretty well in retail and pretty highly regarded in retail. There is no tougher person on you than your father when you officially have an official role. I actually didn't like retail, and I'm not a retail type person. So I like to work outdoors. I've always been an outdoor sort of a kid, and my grandfather owned farms, and so I got the green thumb in the family. No one else did except me. So I get hats off to yourself and hats off to your father for that working relationship that's worked. And here you are, having won the TMSA, that's Turf Management South Australia, their award as Graduate of the Year, fourth-year apprentice. I mean, how does that feel based on what you've just mentioned? And we're skipping through a little bit there, but what's that feel like to take that award knowing that you sort of weren't sure how things were going to go, but you wanted to be a trader? And here you are, you've landed on your feet well and truly, and you're kicking backsides, and look at that. What's it feel like to win that type of an award?
It was, pretty cool. Like I had 2 goals this year, was to win the award and to do a pull-up at the gym, and at least one's come true. one's come true. So I was pretty stoked when I got nominated by our general manager.
Yep.
And I was also nominated by one of my teachers through our ATSMA.
Yep.
TAFE, or not TAFE,
the education
online session. Yep. Yeah, the education. So I was pretty amazed that I got 2 nominations. So I was pretty happy about that. And then I tried, I really tried hard, when I could for the interview. I am not a public speaker. I hate public speaking, and so I was I knew I was going to struggle for the first interview, so I just did as much practice as possible, and then I was I have to get one interview out of the way, and then I'm done. And then I got a phone call, went to the interview, did it, and then I got a phone call, or it was actually an email a few days later saying, "Oh, we can't pick out of you and another person. Can you come back and do another one?" I'm like, "Oh."
That's
fantastic.
all you wanted to hear, right?
No, that was the worst news. I'm like, "Oh, great. Yep. Okay, I can come back and do another one." But it was a bit more I had to do a PowerPoint and a bit more formal to
Sure.
say, and I put a lot of work into that, the presentation, and went back there and did my second one, and lucky enough to get a phone call a few days later after that to say I was successful.
That's wild. That's unbelievable.
So I ran down. I was actually in halfway through one of my lessons online, and I took the phone call, and Nath Bennett from Royal Adelaide, he was one of the judges, and he rang me up to let me know, and I just ran down to Dad to let him know that I won it.
That's amazing. What an incredible moment. And just hearing you talk about the path to get into greenkeeping, I mean, hats off. What a huge congratulations from me to you, because
Thanks.
I hear you talk about that journey. You've worked hard. You've won that award, and I know in the back of my mind is how you kind of did feel a little bit through school. There is an academic side to greenkeeping. There is a technical side to greenkeeping, and these are all parts of it. So you've come full circle, and I hope you see yourself in that light moving forward, because that's what this award is, recognition for being very good at what you do. In your age and your experience, that's what it's showing. So hats off to you for winning, and congratulations, mate. It's that's sensational. So well done.
Thank you.
I want to move along a little bit, if we can, to hearing a little bit more about what you like about greenkeeping. Or, you talked about wanting to sort of always be working in a trade and things. Well, what's one of the things you most enjoy about greenkeeping?
There's so many things.
Rack them off. Come on.
I would say probably, you'd have to say, I like starting early.
Yeah.
Because when you start early, you finish early.
We can all get down for a beer a little bit quicker. Are you one to go for a nice drink afterwards, or are you a beach person because you got the beautiful Glenelg down there?
Yeah. We got a few new people at work, and we've just introduced the pub, so we've been going to the pub most Fridays after work, which is good to build. I think it's good for the culture and stuff. And then on the weekdays, I'm either going to the gym or in the summer going for walks along the beach or going to the beach. So it's pretty good. That's the one good not one good thing, but one of the good things about starting early.
You feel like you got so much time still. That's what I
Yeah.
used to like as an apprentice.
Yeah.
I was always a golfer. So
Yeah.
I
Okay.
used to feel like I could go and play around a golf, and I lived next door to the golf course I worked at. So I could
Yeah.
always go and play golf afterwards and enjoy that. I mean, it really does give you get the most out of each day, I reckon.
Yeah. It's so good.
Being able to do that. Can you tell me something that you've enjoyed learning about in the 4 years that as an apprentice that you learn? And we always learn. For the whole of our careers, we're learning. And in life, we're always learning, right? But in the 4 years of that intense learning, the academic side, that training, the specific technical side of greenkeeping, plus the training that you get and the learning of doing the practical side of greenkeeping, what's something that you've enjoyed most about learning any particular part of the industry and the trade learning?
I can say, like, it was probably last year, I reckon. End of last year, started to learn how to spray fairways, spray greens and like tees and surrounds, and that's probably been the best thing I've like got to learn because like you're learning every day, but like that side of greenkeeping, I reckon, like spraying, you're getting to know a lot more like about the plant health and what you're spraying and why you're spraying and how is it going to help the turf. So I found that really interesting, just getting to learn how to spray. I can say there was many tears learning how to spray. I got very emotional some mornings, like I can't do this, I can't, no, but because at the time our spray was broken, so I had to like learn how to fix it while trying to learn how to spray as well. So it's definitely like I got thrown into the deep end. So
step up to the plate. Come on.
Yeah. So it was a good thing because stepped up, did it, and I was spraying basically like every time we had to spray. So I learnt pretty fast how to do it.
And they're very technical pieces of equipment. There are a lot of parts to a spray rig, and both mechanically, and then you think about the driving unit itself, but also the spraying component of the equipment. It's just full on. There's so many parts to that. Let alone worrying about your rates and your mixing and your timing and. You
have to be thinking all the time.
100%. You have to be on the ball all the time. That's a really interesting part.
Yeah, and then you got worrying about if your pressure's right, have I got enough? And then you got so the golfers are teeing off in half an hour. I need to be back here. So you're thinking about everything.
Yeah, 100%. No, great answer. Great answer.
Oh, and I have to say because we just swapped over to the John Deere GPS spray, so even getting to learn how to spray GPS is pretty cool as well.
Those things, aren't they meant to be don't they drive themselves? Isn't that the idea? I think I talked to Ryan at Raw Canberra about this. I've still got to see one yet. They drive themselves or something, aren't they? They're unreal.
So cool. Yeah.
That's wild. That's awesome. I'm curious as well. I'd like to know a little bit more. What's something that surprised you about greenkeeping that you probably weren't expecting? Maybe when you left school and you started the trade, was something that you probably didn't realise that was part of the job of greenkeeping that you got a bit of a surprise from?
The early mornings. How early we start? No, probably it's not to do with the actual greenkeeping. Well, greenkeeping sign, but how many people don't know it's actually a job. That
I know what you mean. Yeah,
it surprised me so much. All my friends be like, so what do you do? I'm like, I work on a golf course. And then people I talk to, just random people, will be like, oh, so what do you do for a job? I'm like, I never say greenkeeping. I just say, so I work on a golf course. And then they're like, oh, okay, cool. And then I'm like, oh, I work on the ground, the ground stuff. I'm like, oh, is that a job? I'm like, yeah. And I was like, I'm nearly finished my apprenticeship. And they're like, it's a whole apprenticeship. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, it's just, you have this conversation it's, all the time. It's just it's a job. I'm not making it up.
That surprises me to this day and age. I mean, wow, there you go. I remember thinking and having those conversations with people that I knew when I was a kid. when I was an apprentice, when I was young, and yeah, I remember. It's funny what memories bring back from conversations, but I remember being down. We used to go down in the mornings at Smoko, and we would go to the local cafe. Like 30 years ago, 25 years ago, and I was in the Blue Mountains, so it was like the local. Anyway, and we would order bacon egg rolls for everyone. So we go down. Who had the run to go down and get bacon egg rolls from one, righto? And we went down there, and I remember a woman who was standing in the queue behind us, and it must have been the shirts we had on Wentworth Falls, where I was working as an apprentice, and she said, "Oh, do you work at the golf club?" And we're like, "Yeah." And we're like, "Yeah, we're greenkeepers at the golf club." And she goes, "Greenkeepers? Is that a job? Like, is that a job to just cut grass?"
Yeah.
And like she didn't know, and there's lots of people that don't know. But I suppose I still find it amusing that this many years later you're still getting the same things, the same questions, because people don't realise. I guess maybe we don't do a good enough job selling our industry sometimes.
No, I don't think so.
There you go. Okay, great answers along the way too. And I will say this out loud, that you were as nervous as all get out before this, and I think you're doing a great job. So just saying, you wouldn't know. Do you have a favourite area on the golf course at Glenelg to work on? Is there any particular hole or any particular part of the golf course that you enjoy working on the most? Do you like cutting greens more than fairways? Do you like, I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Like when you get a good dew and you're cutting greens, it's pretty good, and you can't beat that.
Nice.
So if you get a good morning and you're down to cut greens, it's amazing. And even like stepping into a bunker that is destroyed and then stepping out and it just looks $1 million, like that's the best feeling, I reckon.
After you've prepped it all for the day's golf ahead.
Yeah.
Just, there's such a good... You're bringing back all the fondest memories I've got of greenkeeping, Sophie. I've got to be honest. I used to love all these things you're talking about. I'm reminiscing at the same time, and it's good to hear that it's still something that people enjoy, that you as an apprentice out there enjoys the same sorts of stuff. So
even like one other like areas, like when the holes are closed for the construction, like going out there and there's like no golfers and you just got like all the time in the world to just do like the job you have without any stress, like that's pretty cool, I reckon, as well.
That's awesome. I'm going to we'll talk about the construction side. You've been doing so much work there, and it's been, I think, for the whole time of your career. Is that right?
Yeah, I've been there ever since it's started.
So what's it like as an apprentice to know that you're learning your trade and the maintenance side and turf management side, but also, and like I said, I don't know how much you realise that you've got able to learn because of the construction side. Do you enjoy that side of it as well? Is that interesting to you?
Yeah, I love it. It's good to like mix it up as well. Like I do like the green, like just the normal course side, but it is good to get out there and do the construction side, because like you're learning like something new every day. Like I've learnt to I've been there ever since it started, and we're up to we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 holes to go, I reckon. So we're nearly there. So I've learnt how to like relay greens, put in all new irrigation, build the artificial revetting, like the bunkers.
Yes.
So it's pretty cool, like stuff that we're doing, and it's so good to be apprentice, and because I could go basically anywhere now and say, I've been a part of this and I have this experience, and if I want to get into that side after my apprenticeship, I've got this experience.
Oh, look, it's incredible. I think, like I said, not a lot of apprentices have the opportunity to experience that type of stuff, and I think it's an incredible string to your bow to be able to learn so early on, because a lot of the time you'll learn that afterwards. So you're doing essentially 2 things at once, and I think that's fantastic. What a great and the work that's being done there. I've seen it firsthand. Thankfully, your father took me around, and when I was there, I think it was just before the first live a couple of years ago, 18 months ago, and it's just mind-boggling. I think it's amazing. I think what's happening at Glenelg is just unreal.
Yeah, the 3 new holes, 15, 16, 17, they're like I don't know, they're probably the best ones because we're doing them all at once, and you can just all see how it's just cool to see. Like we laid the maxi roll down, and now like you probably can't even tell there's like maxi roll there because it's all grown in. Like it's
That's
just
awesome.
so cool.
That's
Yeah,
so good. So good.
yeah,
Let's talk about something that you're part of earlier this year, and this is the sponsors of the Keeper of the Green segment in John Deere. Earlier this year, you were part of the John Deere Women in Turf program that was at
yep,
the WebEx Players Series Murray River at Cobram Barooga down there on
yep.
the Murray. What was that experience like to be in with a group of other females of the industry, and they were all at different levels of their careers? Is that right?
Yeah, yeah,
And you were down there preparing for the tournament, the WebEx Play Series,
yeah.
great tournament to be part of. It travels a number of places throughout the season, the summer season here. What was that experience like to go down there with other females in the industry, both that have been in there for a short period of time and a longer period of time? What was that like?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Yeah, so yeah, I was lucky enough to get invited by John Deere to go, which was pretty cool. And we all I'll start from the beginning. We all flew we all met in Sydney
Yep.
and
Wow.
then all flew to Albury
Yes. Yep.
and then got a bus and drove down to Cobram Barooga. So
Yep.
um just getting to meet the girls, like it's from like they're all from different states, so it was pretty cool to meet them. And just getting to also meet like the Cobram Barooga staff, like they were so welcoming and so nice and just made the week like 10 times better. And it was just a great experience to see what a country course does compared to like what we do at Glenelg. Like you forget how like lucky you are with all the machinery and like the facilities you've got. So it was pretty like eye-opening, but yeah, it was pretty cool. Like one day I was sitting on a utility vehicle and on the back of it there was a scare gun.
Yep.
And because the cockies were so bad that week, like they had so much damage. Like I felt sorry for them. Like their greens were like we had to go plug greens like
Oh,
every day.
that's the
And
worst.
yeah, and then I went out with one of the guys and like, oh, we're just gonna like the cockies are quite bad. I can't remember what hole it was, but they're like they're quite bad on this hole, so we'll go let off the scare gun.
Yep.
So I was like, all right. And when they got all set up and I was like, do you have any earmuffs? Like, so I know how loud they are because
They
like
are
Dad's parents
full
live
on.
on a farm. Yeah,
Yeah.
live on a farm,
Right.
and they would used to set them off like like way down the paddock, and we'll be at home and we could still hear them. He's like, right, so it's gonna go off twice, and like it's gonna let off two bangs, and then we'll get back in and go. I was like, yep, no worries. It went off once, and then it went off again, and we hopped back on. If you were letting a scare gun off in the middle of Adelaide in the afternoon, I don't think you'd be anyone's friend. So that was just pretty cool to experience. I'm like, this is just different, what we're doing here. But yeah, it was a great week.
The country courses do a fantastic job, and
Yeah,
Cobram is a lot of the courses on the Murray are held in very high regard. Anyway, I mean, and
yeah,
that's why the WebEx Player Series goes there, because they are fantastic facilities, and
yeah.
you'll learn a lot. Like you said, they might not have the cash of the metropolitan courses, but you think
No,
you get to you're learning outside the box how to do things without having all of the gear at your disposal. And I think that's a skill set to be part of and something to be able to learn and be underneath. So
yeah.
very, very interesting to hear that you can pick up and learn a few things. So what was it like picking the brains of some of the other female greenkeepers and
Yeah,
hearing some of their stories?
yeah, it's pretty good. Like, can't. There was one from WA, so she had a long flight over. Then there was one from Brisbane and a few from Sydney, and then one from actually Albury, so she drove over. And then
Yep.
yeah, it was so cool to just actually actually work with some female greenkeepers, and it was amazing. It was one of the best weeks. Like I've been to I've done a like Australian Open tournament
Yeah, right.
in 2022 or 2021, and that was so like I loved that, but Cobram Barooga was up there with that as well.
That's awesome. That's so good to hear.
Yeah,
That's so
and
good.
even like I even keep in touch with like most of the girls and most of the guys that work there because they were excellent as well.
That's awesome. Such
Yeah,
great memories, and great to be part of such a good initiative. I think it's a
yeah,
great initiative by John Deere. And again,
yeah.
I don't hide away from the fact that they're sponsors of Keeper of the Greens on the Golf and Greenkeeper podcast. We've got to mention that out loud. But
Mm.
I think it's a wonderful initiative, and a great way to get the exposure to women in the turf industry and experience, give them an opportunity to experience tournament preparation and that type of stuff. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah.
What's it? What's it feel like? Are you as a female in the trade in Adelaide, and I don't know, so I can only ask you to understand what's it like not having a lot of other women around in the trade. Was it nice to have other females around in that team environment working at Cobram, and would you like to see more in the
Yeah,
industry?
yeah, it was good. Um, I do I do like working with guys. I get along with guys way better than girls. But so I'm like, it would be nice to have a few more girls, but not too many, I
But
don't reckon. Yeah, I feel like more women need to get into it. But the good thing is, like, I'm going to well, next weekend. I'm flying out to Melbourne for the Oz Open.
awesome.
Um, that was part of the winning the award.
Oh wow, okay,
So
fantastic.
yeah, so one of the sponsors is sending me over, and then
That's brilliant.
yeah, and then actually like I'm staying on the hotels with John Deere doing like bringing more girls over to do the same thing as we did at Cobram. So I'll be there not with John Deere, but I'll be there with the girls from John Deere doing
And
the same thing.
and that's fantastic. And the more
Yeah,
sponsors to be involved in promoting women in the trade is brilliant. I think
yeah,
there's a great opportunity. Like the industry is talking about a lack of staff, and I think the fact that we're not targeting more females to give them an opportunity to fill those spaces, I think is madness. I think we need to be doing more. We have a great opportunity to fill lots of spaces and showcase women that there's no that they have the ability to do the job as well as anyone else in the
oh
industry,
yeah,
and you're a clear and shining example of that. To be blunt, Sophie, you're out there doing it.
yeah.
And was it Sophie at Royal Adelaide?
Yes, Sophie Harndorf, yeah.
Yeah, so she did her time. She qualified last year, I think, from memory.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
so she's been someone who's gone through her time as an apprentice and become a qualified greenkeeper as well, which
Yeah.
is so good to hear. So there's two in Adelaide. I mean, like I said, Adelaide's not an isolated pocket; it's happening around the country. But you're going to start to meet and see more of those people and be involved in those
Yeah.
groups. And I think it's brilliant, and I certainly love to see more of it. And I know John Deere are
Yeah.
involved, so that's
Soph
fantastic.
Soph Harndorf actually came and worked at Glenelg for a bit.
Oh, did
So
she? Brilliant.
it was so great to have her because I met her when I went to the Oz Open a few years ago. That was my first time meeting her, and yeah, we got on like so well. So
That's great.
it was cool to have her working like at work. So yeah.
Sensational. Fantastic.
Mm.
Now, curious about your future, Sophie. Where do you? Here's probably the ultimate question. I mean, where would you like to go in greenkeeping? Do you? I mean, I suppose ultimately, say it, graduate of the year. There's a lot of things that are at your feet. You have a lot of opportunities in the future.
Yeah.
Being as good as you are and being recognised at being good at your trade of greenkeeping. You've got any ideas of things you'd like to do?
Yeah.
Aspirations? Throw it out there.
Yeah. I know what I want to do. I want to finish the construction to say I've been at Glenelg for the whole time that's been, and then I want to go to New Zealand for 6 months and work on a course over there.
Wow,
And
that's cool.
yeah, I had that, like, that's my dream, like, to just, I don't know, I don't care when it happens, like, sooner better than, like, sooner rather than later.
Yep.
And just save up some money, and then probably wait around for the construction, wait until I get qualified so I'm earning some more money, and then save up, go to New Zealand, work there. Never been to New Zealand, never been overseas.
Oh.
So I thought New Zealand's probably the best place to start, just because I've heard great things about it, like such a nice place to go. And if I like, because it's so close, like if I do get homesick, mum and dad can just hop on a flight and come over for like a weekend.
Yeah.
Dad loves it over there. He's been there so many times.
Yeah, right,
So,
okay.
yeah, Dad's like, no, yeah, you can go to New Zealand. Yep, we'll come over. So
they want a holiday as well, right?
yeah. So that's my ultimate dream, to go work there and then just see where that goes. Like if I love it there, stay there, or I do I want to do the higher program in America.
Yes.
So that would be an option. And then see where that goes, and then I'd love to probably work like sometime down my career, probably work in Melbourne on one of the sand-built courses, because when I went to the Oz Open, it was at the Victoria golf course, and that was just next level. Like that's probably one of the best golf courses I've worked on or seen. So I've that would be pretty cool to go work on one, like work in Melbourne, if I can brave the cold, because I don't own a pair of pants. I just work in shorts. And that's back to one of the other questions, how what's I can't remember, but I was going to mention about how bad my sock tan is. It's so bad.
That's normally a golfer's thing to worry about.
Sock
tans.
Oh no, you should see mine. It's seriously, I had the when I had the awards night for my award, I wore a dress, and I was like, I have to go get a spray tan. I need to get this sock tan out. So the guys at work were like, just put your feet in just a bucket of tan. And then I put a photo up on Instagram of me in my dress, and one of the guys commented, "Oh, nice socks." I'm like, can you not
I'm gonna just throw it out there. Don't take tan advice from blokes. Seriously, I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. That's Brett. Look, you've got some great aspirations, and New Zealand is a magnificent landscape.
Yeah.
And there are some, mate. You've only got to look at Instagram, and obviously your father's travelled there, so he's probably told you some stories of some fantastic golf courses in New Zealand, but be it North Island or South Island. And look, hey, I've got some Kiwi friends that listen to the podcast. So if anyone's out there listening that maybe they're on one of those golf courses that you might be interested in going to, they've heard you now on the podcast, so they can get in touch with you. I'm sure through the Golf and Greenkeeper, we'll be able to pass you on, and obviously. The Ohio State, look, I'm sure your father's got a lot of connections there as well, but the Ohio State program, Mike O'Keefe, I know he listens to the podcast as well. So, look, you've got plenty of connections through the podcast. You've got plenty of connections within your team, within your family, with your father. Lots of connections through Glenelg as well, I'm sure, no doubt. So, look, look, I certainly, for one, along with the rest of the industry, look forward to following your greenkeeping career, Sophie. It's you've done such an amazing job going through your apprenticeship to get to this point, culminating so far at this point in your career with winning the award as Graduate of the Year from the TMSA recently. Look, congratulations on all of that. And look, I think I see this as a wonderful way to end our conversation on a high with your aspirations and your career path and your plans. Look, hearing your story, hearing your way in, hearing your passion about what you do for a living, which is probably goes against the grain for a lot of women who are looking to start a career in anything. But I think hearing how you've picked up greenkeeping and your passion behind it and the things that you enjoy, I wanted to pick your brains and hear the things that you enjoy about it, because I think it's worth talking about. And for me, I was just reminiscing already about the things that I used to love as an apprentice. So, look, it's great to hear. I really appreciate you opening up and talking about all of those points and putting those things forward and talking about your career and where you want to go. So thank you so much, Sophie, for being involved on the Golf and Greenkeeper podcast, and congratulations on your career, and I really appreciate you coming on to talk about all those points.
Thank you. Hopefully it was good enough. I was, very nervous, as you said.
You don't even sound, there's no nerves there. Everyone listening are not going to be knowing that whatsoever, because it doesn't come across that way. But look, Thank you so much, Sophie. We wish you well in your future career, and anyone who's listening, I'm sure if you bump into Sophie, wherever you see her in her future career in greenkeeping, be sure to say hello. And if you're local to Adelaide, if you don't know Sophie Warren at Glenelg Golf Club and you're a local at Glenelg, make sure you say hello. I'm sure plenty of people do. Sophie Warren, thank you so much for being on John Deere Golf Keeper of the Greens on the Golfing Greenkeeper podcast.
Thank you.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Sophie Warren, fourth-year apprentice, soon-to-be qualified greenkeeper at Glenelg Golf Club. And look, as you've heard, Sophie is going to be going places in her career. This is just the beginning, the very early steps in her greenkeeping career, and what a wonderful start she's had working at Glenelg Golf Club and all of the things that she's got under her belt. And she's just a fantastic human. I mean, you've heard our conversation there. She's just been enjoying her career to date. She's kicking goals, kicking backsides along the way and showcasing how good she is at what she does and how far she's come in her role as a greenkeeper and learning the trade at Glenelg Golf Club there with a fantastic team. Now, I have to say thank you so much to Sophie Warren for joining me on the podcast. I know she was a bit nervous, but she did a cracking job, and there's nothing to be nervous about, Sophie. So you did a fantastic job. It was great fun to have you on the podcast, and certainly one to put there under your belt in the public speaking game that you did such a good job at. So, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to come across Sophie Warren, so keep an ear out, keep an eye out for her. If you bump into her, say good day, and if you see her at any of the any events, and if you see her on course at Glenelg, any of the tournaments that I'm sure she's going to be volunteering and being part of in the future around the country, some of the biggest events. But she's fantastic. She's got a long way to go in her career, and I congratulate Sophie, and I say thank you as well for being on the podcast. Now, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check out deere.com.au to see what John Deere Golf have for you to help you look after and maintain your golf course or your sports turf area. They will be absolutely able to come and assist you and see what they've got in their range that can help you do your job better. I've got so much great new content coming out before the end of this year, at the start of next year. There's heaps happening, heaps coming, lots of interviews, lots of information, so much you're going to want to be involved with and be across, certainly while you're having a bit of downtime as well. You can make sure you stay up to date with what's going on, whether you might be playing golf all over the place, a little bit of content about some of the tournaments that we've got that are being hosted around the country as well. So make sure you stick to the Golfing Greenkeeper podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Click that subscribe button. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, give me a rating of the podcast. These things are all helpful to get the podcast out and about. And as I mentioned, we've finally cracked into number 5 in Australia. We hit the top 5 in the country of golf podcasts listened to in Australia on the Apple chart. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening. I will leave you with it once again for this week. You hit 'em clean, we'll keep 'em green, and I'll catch up with you next week. No worries at all. Thank you so much for agreeing to be on the pod.
No, that's good.
I really appreciate it. I know you
can't say I'll be any good, but
look, I'm sure. Just roll with it, right? Some of these little bits and pieces may make it like a behind the scenes snippet that I have sometimes at the back end, but it gets edited to make sure that no one says the wrong thing. Otherwise, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter what you say. You can drop the F-bomb and say shit. It doesn't matter. It's not about that, but it's all. Look, as I said, the idea of this is to have a bit of fun. It's a bit lighthearted. It's not meant to be too serious about anything. This is just meant to be lighthearted fun that everyone enjoys listening to. So that's the essence of it.
Yeah, I listened to the other ones, so I was like, oh, mine aren't going to be like they're all different. Like mine isn't going to be like bloody. What was the one you did?
With Richard Forsyth.
Yeah, I said mine's now going to be like that.
No one's going to be like that. I mean, that's up there with the top of the tree. There's not going to be too many people that are like Richard. All right, how was that, mate?
Yeah, good.
That was good. That was nice.
It wasn't that bad.
That wasn't bad at all. I told you.
No. Was it all good?
That's fantastic.
Everything I said?
Yeah, that was brilliant.
Cool.
That was brilliant.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly all it needed to be, mate.